If you're not paying attention, you're probably consuming too much. Okay, so today I've reached 600 days of using MyFitnessPal, and I thought it would be a good idea to share some of the insights I've had from using it for that long. Straight up, I'm going to talk about what I think the most valuable thing about it is. This is really the key aspect that does the transformative work. It's the awareness that it brings to what you're doing. You know, if you want to make any change in your life, you have to become aware of what's happening as it's happening and know what you're going to be able to do differently. If you want to make any change, you have to be aware. So how do you bring more awareness into this thing that we want to change, our diet? This is just a fantastic tool for doing that. It's just helping you stay conscious of your consumption, because it's so easy to go over. If you're not paying attention, you're probably consuming too much. I mean, in today's world of just super high calories, and we eat more often than we used to, the first thing that you're going to get out of the tracking, the first realization people typically have, is just how many calories that things are and how easy it is to go over. Like you just track a normal day that you would normally have, and you just like, it's shocking to see. And that realization you first have is like, no wonder I was gaining weight. The confusion about why am I gaining weight and how come it's so hard, and also, it just goes away. There's just no other way to get that awareness. And this leads me to another massive insight that I have around this is a really key thing to staying on track, is keep tracking even when you go over. It's really the key to staying consistent with the tracking. Increases your own commitment to it, and it sort of makes that more concrete, your commitment to this. And then it also gives you the opportunity to sort of balance it out throughout the week. No matter what happens, even if you've gone way over what you should have for the day according to your allowance, you are then empowered with that information to do something. I mean, it is what it is. If you've gone over, you've gone over. As I always say, ignorance never puts you in a better place to deal with something. It's much more sort of functional to have a broad view on this. The truth is that the game is never over. Just because we screw up today doesn't mean we can't do better tomorrow, and vice versa. Just because you did well today doesn't mean you've got free reign tomorrow. Like it's an ongoing thing. Always, you're never out. We're always in. To just be like, I've screwed up for today, then I'll just have whatever, because we're just trying to give ourselves that permission to have that guilt-free consumption, which is also intoxicating, just guilt-free consumption. It's just, there's not much that's more pleasurable in this life than that. But I mean, ultimately, that's just a distortion. We don't have just free reign, to just do whatever. We have an energy budget, and if we do not honor that, then there are consequences. As they say, you're free to do anything that you want. You only have to face the consequences, right? So that is another very empowering thing. That my next point is that the thing that's so much more powerful about doing this than other eating plans or anything like that, anything that's sort of restrictive and prescriptive, is that, as soon as you get told, as soon as you tell yourself or someone, especially if someone else tells you that you're not allowed to have something, it immediately becomes the most attractive thing in the world. As soon as you're not allowed to have chocolate, that's all you want. As soon as you're not allowed to have chips, that's all you want. So what's really important and powerful about the tracking is that you are allowed to have whatever you want. You just track what you have, take that ownership of it. And that's another good point. When you are allowed to have whatever you want, but you choose to have it or you choose not to have it, that is empowered, and that is what is going to be able to keep you going. So you might think to yourself, all right, well, you've been doing this for 600 days. Why are you still doing this? Why are you still doing it now? If you've got, truth is, I actually am trying to lose a little bit of weight again. Gained a little bit over New Year's and Christmas. But regardless, I've been doing it for a long time, even just to maintain my weight, because it's 600 days now, but I've had streaks before. And this is the thing I've learned after sort of doing it and not doing it over the course of, 2 decades now, is that it's very dangerous to not be doing it for me, and I know for many others as well, because if I'm not paying attention, if I'm not having that awareness consistently present, if my relationship with food is not one where I'm consistently taking ownership and logging it there and just making sure I'm catching it all and I feel like I've got a grip on it because of that, then it's a slippery slope. I start having, you know, a little bit of a chocolate here and a lolly there, and then before you know it, I'm out of control. And it's happened so many times, like over the last 2 decades. As soon as I just think, oh well, yeah, I know what I'm doing, you know, it's all good. And the truth is, I do know what I'm doing, but attention to what you're consuming is so easy to lose. So it's not about whether I know what I'm doing or not. It's just the fact that it's very easy to just start enjoying it all too much and then think, yeah, I'm doing all right, because, you know, it happens so slowly. And then before you know it, you're like, I've gained more than I wanted to, and I'm really in a place where I feel it's very difficult to control my consumption now. So look, I have found that I'm so much more on track and so much more consistent, and it's so much easier to pull myself back in line when I'm tracking. And I'm tracking because, again, like I said, in my mind, there just isn't a good reason not to. Because, like I said, ignorance is never a better place to deal with anything. So, you know, if I do it, then I know what's going on. I feel in a place of power and ownership. But if I don't, then I don't know what's going on, and I'm just kind of on that slippery slope to just falling off the wagon and being out of control. So, I mean, it just makes enough sense to me to just continue doing it. And I have no plans to stop doing it because I know every time I have, it's not worked out well. My message is that, look, in the world that we live in right now, where it's just what I call toxic abundance, there is just so much junk out there, so much high calorie food, and just so much advertising to stimulate us. And even lots of healthy foods, you know, there's just an abundance of it, abundance of you know, of fruit and avocados and all these things. They're all super high in calories, you know, and I'm hungry, you know. So it's so easy to go over in this environment we live in. So this little habit, this little thing that we can do and that I do, just allows you to function in this world in a way that is not out of control. How do you be in control in just limitless abundance? How do you stop yourself from just taking advantage of every tiny little opportunity you get to have a pleasurable experience of eating? How do you manage that? By tracking, by staying aware. That's what I've found, and I think is very powerful, and a lot of people have as well. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I enjoyed delivering it. Hopefully it empowers and excites a lot of you that hear this and makes a difference in your life. Get on it, get the app downloaded, start paying attention, start tracking, and tell me what you think. Tell me what you thought of what we've talked about, and you know what your experiences have been. Again, I'd love to get a conversation going down in the comments below. I'll see you next time.